Kamala Harris officially launched her 2020 presidential campaign and laid out some key points for her platform. During the shutdown, the president's company fired some of its undocumented workers that were employed at Trump's golf club. And Marco Rubio, the president's Venezuela whisperer, question mark?
Team Rising is here, joining us and causing trouble even in the breaks. Saagar Enjeti is a White House correspondent with the Daily Caller, and he's joined by political analyst and columnist Jonathan Harris. Gentlemen, welcome to Rising. Welcome
Thanks,
back.
guys.
You guys are here more often than I am.
We just need to roll the cameras with these guys all the time. Commercial break was lit.
Well, what's up first?
All right, let's talk a little bit about Kamala Harris, because I think whatever your political stripe, it is momentous that this week we have the first African-American woman of color with a serious chance to become president of the United States. And she had a big announcement. They say 20,000 people were in Oakland yesterday for her announcement. And she talked a lot about, her record as a prosecutor. And she said, here's one thing I thought was very interesting. She said that she, every time she got up, she only ever had one client her entire legal career. And every time she got up, she announced Kamala Harris for the people. And that is how she started her campaign.
Oh, man, it's straight out of an Aaron Sorkin movie.
Okay, so I think we got something. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
We are here knowing we are at an inflection point in the history of our world. We are at an inflection point in the history of our nation. We are here because the American dream and our American democracy are under attack and on the line like never before.
So Saagar, well, she certainly has the resume and the profile and a lot of these pieces, and as Jamal points out, has the sort of groundbreaking historical nature of the announcement. However, to win the presidency, she's going to have to win Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. I mean, some combination there of Pennsylvania, Florida. I don't see how she's a particularly strong matchup for the Democrats against Trump in any of those places.
That's because you don't understand math.
Well, it's not necessarily that. I listen to that. I hear
Hillary. So
yeah, I hear a cult of personality announcement. I hear going over the resume, but what is the unifying message behind the campaign? I understand she drew 20,000 people, but there's a lot of resentment against the president. But that's not just how you're going to win the presidency. You have to offer a formative vision to a lot of the Midwestern states. Talking about your prosecutorial background is cool. I didn't hear anything in there about immigration. I didn't hear anything in there about trade. Those are the top two issues that are at the top of the Pew polls for voters going into 2020. Those are the types, and healthcare in particular. Those are the themes that we need to hear from the candidates. It's what I hear from Elizabeth Warren. It's what I hear from Bernie, from a lot of the other people in the Democratic field. This one seemed a little bit more empty to me.
So let me ask you a question, Jonathan. The question to me seems to be, should Democrats be running away from the diversity of the country and us living and working together, or be running on that diversity? It seems to me that she has sort of planted her feet in the let's run on the diversity, because in a state like Michigan, which Donald Trump won by 10,000 votes, we know there were 50,000 votes that didn't show up in the city of Detroit that would have gotten Hillary Clinton over the hump.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the election is not tomorrow. I don't think she needs to lay out every single detail of her campaign right now. She just announced last week. So I think she's going to cover a demographic that is needed, that the Republicans will not be able to cover, and that the Democrats cover well, which is diversity. When you look up and you see a woman of color, that's going to help. And that's not something that the Republicans can offer right now. So if you can pull that out, that's what Obama did. Obama had record high turnout, and it was because to some extent or another, there was just a portion of the electorate that didn't see themselves ever in a campaign, and then they finally saw themselves and they came out. So there's no reason to believe that Kamala Harris wouldn't be able to do the same thing.
Do you think her record on criminal justice is going to be an issue for her?
Oh, of course it's going to be. Of course it's going to be.
It will be.
Of course, you have a lot of the Bernie Sanders supporters coming out doing what they do, which is attacking the Democratic Party. So I don't know why Bernie Sanders they're so precious. But you have them coming out and attacking her record. And look, when you do anything, somebody can nitpick at your record, but I think overall she's been an advocate for criminal justice reform, and it'll taper off.
I will just add to this. It's not just people of color who believe in this diversity. It's also, if you look at a state like Georgia, where Lucy McBath won, these were white women who voted for an African-American woman to represent them in Congress and Newt Gingrich's old congressional seat.
I mean, if you're just running on your identity, that's the real question the Democratic Party has to answer. And a lot of people, it was not about identitarian politics. It was a single message. It was, we need to restrict immigration in this country. We need to, the people who have been making our trade deals are fools. I want to come in and change that. I see a lot of that coming out of Elizabeth Warren. I see a lot of that coming out of Bernie Sanders. Those are formidable candidates.
You think Elizabeth Warren is running on restricting immigration?
No. I'm saying she's talking about trade in particular, and she's talking about poverty.
But
why do they want to restrict immigration? Why do Republicans want that? Because they look at it as a direct tie to wages in this country. That is what the Midwest wants to hear. They've been waiting to hear it for 35 years.
You don't think that Trump ran on his identity, though? You don't think he ran on the identity of frustrated, very likely racist people in the interior of the country, telling them that brown people are coming from your jobs from Mexico and bringing drugs?
Well,
of
those
course
same,
he ran
those
on his
same people
identity.
put a name named Barack Hussein Obama into office for 8 years.
Those same voters that voted for
the
Trump?
exact same
Okay.
There are
I'm pretty sure that's not what happened. But
Trump-Obama voters as
absolutely
reported
not.
in the media.
Absolutely not.
I mean, the data pretty much bears
It
this
actually
out.
doesn't. The way the number is calculated is dubious at best. There are some. I'm not saying there are none.
I mean, I didn't know there was math truth.
You're telling me Obama.
But,
it's just a reality. You're telling me that the MAGA hat crowd that's punching people in the face at rallies was like, oh man, doggone it, I was an Obama supporter like 5 minutes ago, but this Trump guy
those are not the people that put Donald Trump into office. It was the Midwest of this country who was fed up.
It also back in a no less august publication than the New York Times. They're writing about how unrestricted immigration, added to illegal immigration, suppresses the wages of workers as late as about 2002.
It was common wisdom.
That was the editorial board.
Conventional
That was the editorial board of the New York Times.
Were they calling people drug dealers and rapists, though?
No,
I don't think they were.
The message.
But I'm just saying that Democrats have said the same thing. It's like they always try to.
They absolutely do not. They absolutely do not say it brings down wages. Except Bernie Sanders.
His name was Bernie Sanders. That's right.
Obama was on the record saying that many times. There's a difference between saying strong borders. That's odd because illegal immigration was down under Obama and is up under Trump. What are you talking about?
No,
I don't understand.
That's absolutely.
Now we're talking about truth or numbers. It's absolutely true.
I'm about to jump in here with hedgehogs and salmonella, but that's a different block.
We started out in a moment of comedy around Kamala Harris, and let me just end this on this. She did say in her remarks that it's the current population, the current politics, is a politics that causes Americans to blame each other and vilify each other for the problems we have versus looking and seeing how we can strengthen each other to become a better country. So maybe we can strengthen each other and start talking about why Donald Trump was hiring undocumented workers while he was railing against Mexican American
because he's a Republican. Your construction of this is unfair. Donald Trump is not sitting there saying, "Oh, I would like you to be clipping the hedges." Okay, right. He's not the one that's dealing with the groundskeepers at his golf course. This is 10 layers removed from him.
Right.
But it does make a more important point, Saagar, which is that a part of this whole process, and this is where you'll see, by the way, the Democrats are actually favorable to illegal immigration. They're not actually opposed to it; they are favorable to it. Is interior enforcement until you turn off the magnet, until people don't have a reason to continue to come in waves of immigration to the country illegally. They're going to keep doing it. So you have to actually have E-Verify or some way of knowing in the workplace whether people are here legally or not.
And those Trump properties, that only 2 Trump properties use E-Verify apparently, and the ones that are in trouble.
Yes, I was going to say there's 2 ways to look at this. Was you can dunk on the president, or you can say, we really need mandatory E-Verify in this country.
Always dunk on the president.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's the route I assume people would take.
I love that the magnet for illegal immigration is working for Trump. That's fantastic.
That
visual is just beautiful.
It's a wage higher relative to what you get in Tegucigalpa or wherever people are coming from.
Because
for Trump. Don't ever leave that part out.
These CEOs that are hiring undocumented workers are not necessarily Democrats.
I was going to. I would like.
It's a bipartisan.
I would like to dunk on Republicans for a minute,
including the president.
The Chamber of Commerce Republicans are terrible on this. They have been for a long time. People have been asking the question. You, Crystal, others. Why haven't they taken the stand on immigration sooner? It's because there are a lot of Republicans who like the donors that support them, who like the cheap labor.
Right. And the billionaire class loves illegal immigration more than anybody else. It's the common working people who are the ones who suffer. And that is exactly what we should be looking at.
When do we get to ring the
I'm trying to ring it right now.
I mean, that's what do you want me to do? But that's the thing.
Yelling about Republicans are sellouts.
But that's how they do it. I mean, they campaign on it, but then they're hypocrites about it. So you'd think you'd be harder on your party.
Trump is not a hypocrite about it because there are people that work at one of his how many dozens of properties who are illegal. There are illegals all across the country.
But he is a CEO. He's a CEO who's supposed to be one of the best deal makers and best managers and businessmen in the country, and he is actually committing the problem, the crime that he is trying to solve.
Thank goodness the buck doesn't stop
and so
there.
they should institute policies of e-verify at all of their locations if they're
absolutely.
serious. He doesn't run his company anymore, but they should.
There should be fines.
Yes,
I'm all for enforcement on this one. But to be like, well, Trump did this. They're illegal. Walk into a restaurant in New York City or Los Angeles, there's a very good chance
Do you
will
think if
find
they were
somebody
working
who's
for an
illegal.
Obama company, you would be so generous?
I keep saying everybody.
I don't think you would.
First of all, Obama couldn't
I don't
run any
think you
company.
would.
And second of all,
I don't
start
think
with that.
you would.
And second of all, I mean, no, of course. I think this has been a problem for politicians, by the way, for a long time. People that have employed illegal nannies. I mean, this has been an issue that comes up for people.
But it's just ridiculous, the idea that this person ran on a hateful campaign of illegal immigration, advocates policies that would allow his wife and her family into the country, but then doesn't want those policies for other people, and now has illegal people working for his company. I mean,
How is a
but it's not his fault.
suppressing the wages of the American
You call her a
people?
supermodel? Interesting. I kind of see her as never mind. But I don't know what you call people that's completely undressed in photos
Former
or partially
supermodel.
undressed. That's an interesting thing
Can we
to call
get a
her.
coffee
but-
after this so I can detox? I mean, now we're talking about whether
Such
she's a
an interesting
supermodel
thing
or
to call
not.
her.
Hey, if Michelle Obama had pictures like that on the internet,
Of course. I mean, she's
we would never hear the hit.
but we
What
call
about
her
female
she's a
empowerment? This is what I'm
supermodel.
supposed to hear.
Whoa,
She's a supermodel.
That's
Interesting.
disgusting.
She's a world-class model.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there. And I love
Long
the
since
person-
retired.